Hi everybody, Tracy Brown. This video is not going to be here to teach you a bunch of new tools and techniques and all that kind of stuff today. This is just about encouragement. And so when I say encouragement, of course I believe the full recovery of diet trauma and disordered eating is possible. But I want you to understand a couple things that maybe you don't hear other places. And that's something that's really important to me, is that you recognize the how come of why you're doing all this and really understand the function of any kind of diet behavior, diet culture behavior, disordered behavior, however you label it for yourself, is that everything that encompasses diet culture behavior or disordered behavior is a way that you're trying to honestly regulate the internal chaos. And so I want you to recognize that it's not because you're out of control and it's all that. And so that gives us hope to recognize, oh, if my body internally feels chaos, there's probably some way that I can naturally get back to that, there's some level of regulation, because we're born to be that way, even though things get all jumbled up and chaotic for a lot of different reasons, which we're not going to go into today in terms of our own personal histories. But it happens. Stuff happens. Life happens. And so here we are. And so one thing in encouragement I want you to think about every single day, just one thing, is that it's easy to get really caught up in what isn't going right, the days that you binge, the days that you counting calories when you didn't want to, the moments where you didn't mean to buy that diet magazine, but you did anyway, because it just felt like it was calling your name and you really needed it. I want you to recognize that, okay, one, that's just an attempt that you were trying to calm some kind of internal chaos. And two, and you'll think, oh, it's just diet culture. I just want to be acceptable and fit in. Of course you do. Of course. That feels internally awful if you have this belief that you don't fit in. You're trying to manage that. And it's important to do the inner and the outer work. The outer work is recognizing that we're in this culture, so we have some attachment to it, and learning kind of what is healthy about it and what's not healthy about it for ourselves inside our own systems. And that's part of the healing. So that part is important. But we get really attached to what isn't going right, what we messed up with, whatever. I want you to start from this video on, whenever you're listening to this, to focus on something that you were attuned to in some kind of way, and ask yourself, how did you know that? How did you know inside yourself that you were attuned to it? And how did you let that land or be? Or celebrate? Basically celebrate where it is that you have some capacity to do what feels nourishing to you. That's really important. So, that's one place of encouragement, that I know that you're capable. One, because you're watching this video. If you're watching this video, you're reaching. You're reaching for something that is trying to meet a need, and that's a success right there. And what does that feel like to reach out and maybe get a need met of encouragement? Feel what that feels like in your body, in your system. Boom! If that's all you do today, you are building a new neural pathway that is learning how to reach and get that need met, which is awesome. Okay, so what you're actually learning with this attuned eating process, and by slowing down and listening and knowing and watching and even learning from the days that are honestly that kind of suck, is that you're learning how to identify your hunger and identify what you need, and therefore you're starting to learn actually about who you are and yourself. When you start to reach for what you need with food, you're also learning how to honestly learn about what you need. When you learn to kind of basically pull, you're pulling in, what maybe will feel satisfying to you, and in general, learning how to be satisfied in life. And then when you yield, like you maybe push to reach out what it is that you need, what you're basically knowing what your hunger is, and knowing like what it is to fill that need, and knowing how to be satisfied. The next step really is, now I can just let it go. I can yield, I can digest, my body feels okay. That's what you're learning. And it's not just about the food. It's not about the hunger and fullness. It's about that, and it's about all these cycles in how to be a regulated person, that you're actually learning. And that's how people move past disordered eating and chronic dieting, is working through this cycle over and over and over again in a very, what's the word? It's like this figure eight. It's like it's just flow of things versus like this jumbled up, like I don't know what's going on kind of thing. So you kind of have to start with the hunger fullness work helps with that. But if you don't know how to do that, you're struggling, of course, reach out, because I don't think it's necessary for somebody to have to like work for years to try to figure out intuitive eating. That's a sign that, like, you know, you need some help, like actually slowing down and doing even the smaller work before you can even feel hunger and fullness. And that's real. Some people have that dilemma, and they need help with that. I would say the other part is, leaning into what feels safe, what feels good, what you actually are already doing. That's calming down the chaos. And I mean, there are so many things that I could actually think of right this second that you probably might be doing an accident that you don't know about, in terms of, whether it's breathing, or maybe it's feeling your feet on the ground, or maybe that's swaddling yourself or whatever. I mean, I've got a long list of things that I do to help people actually even get to like accurate hunger and fullness signals. But those are just a thing to start. So my word of encouragement is recognize that all of these things that we're trying to do, we're trying to help ourselves with the internal chaos. So you just even watching this video is definitely an attempt on your part to try to soothe and calm, some of that internal chaos. And that's brave making in action. So I want you to celebrate that right now, that you're even watching this video to get this information, and start to tune into yourself more about where are the places in your life on a daily basis that and how do you know that you're actually helping yourself without food or weight behaviors. And that could be everything. It can be chewing and spitting. It can be binging, purging, over-exercising, even feeling kind of numb to everything. If any of that stuff is happening for you and you're watching this video, where does it feel like in your system that you reach for that, and what is that feeling like? And celebrate that. All right, thank you all so much. This was meant to be just to remind yourself that you're already on your way, and it takes as long as it takes. So if you're discouraged, reach out. If you're watching this replay, put replay and comment. I would love to come back around and thank you for coming and getting what you got out of this video, and I really appreciate it so much. Take care. Bye.